Thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy podcast, where we delve into crazy creatures, evading extraterrestrials, horrifying haunted places, the unexplained, and the conspiracies that surround them. The following content will more than likely involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. For bonus materials, uncut video versions of the episodes, and other great perks, go on over to patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Dollars for disclosure, half Sawbuck Snally, and Paranormal Posse members will get a shout on the pod, access to the private Discord server, as well as more perks that you can find in each tier. However, if you are using an iOS application, I suggest that you sign up through a web browser to avoid the 30% fee that is charged through the app that is not at all related to the podcast. You will still be able to listen on the app, even though you sign up through the browser. So grab your rose colored glasses, skeptical suits, and hold onto your butts as we teleport into the realm of the CCC podcast. Hope to see you soon. All right. Welcome back, everyone. With me again is Miss Liz from Ouch Was That a Ghost. We are going to be hitting up, I know, right? Part 2. So if you haven't listened to the first part, I know it doesn't say part 1, 2, and 3 because I've decided that people don't listen as much when you do that. Last week's episode was the Dexter UFO sighting and just what they went through there. And this week we're going to be talking about the next day, the town over in Hillsdale. There's another UFO sighting, but it gets crazy. So I wanted to make sure that we again kept track. As always, thank you again for being on. Is there anything that's changed in the last week that you have going on or anything?
Nope. I'm just trying to catch up with episodes.
All right.
I'm really thinking about going bi-weekly because it feels like you're rushing episodes, and I think they come out better if you have more time.
Yeah. I have 2 things of notes. I might actually do one with him in the near future. So that'll cover one. I've got notes on another one that's ready, and then I have notes that I'm working on for a third. I've got the notes. It's just getting the time to do it. Hopefully those will be out and we'll get things going, but I guess we'll just go ahead and dive right in. I'm pretty boring. There's not a whole lot going on. I've got the new job started and there's some stuff. Yeah, thanks. All right. In the bathroom, I was like, hold on. I was like, I'm going to steal a smooch before I go in there and record. So I lean over and I give him a kiss. And as soon as I kiss him, the lights go off, like the lamp next to my bed goes off. And he's like, that was weird. I was like, a little bit. Okay. All right. So just, okay, back in action. Here we go. All right. On March 21st, 1966, just one night after the Manor family's terrifying encounter, the cool spring night air wafted through the streets of another Michigan town by the name of Hillsdale. Hillsdale. I keep wanting to call it like high heels. Unlike the sleepy town of Dexter, housing an estimated 3,000 or less souls that year, Hillsdale was a bustling college town with what I would guess to be at least double the population, bringing that city to life. So I'm from a tiny town. There's not very many people here. There's 2,500 maybe in my town. And just maybe half an hour down the road, you've got a college town. I guess it's a college town. And they've got 60,000+ people there.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that it's the same setup.
How many people do you have in your town?
Like between 2,000 and 2,500.
Okay.
We're itty bitty.
Yeah, you're smaller than my town.
Yeah, it's like you blink and we're not there anymore. Now, just like in the Dexter encounter, somewhere between 9 and 10 p.m. that fateful night, the girls of the McIntyre residence sat in their dorm rooms, no doubt turning in for the night. So we got a dorm room, ladies are coming in. It is unlikely that there was any ruckus in the halls since Hillsdale College was founded and ran with high standards of giving more of a prep school kind of vibe than a typical party campus that you would see today.
You said it's high heel town, of course.
Yeah. I don't want to say hoity-toity, that's not what I'm looking for. They were very buttoned up, strict
Preppy.
rules. Yes, they weren't like a loose college like you would see today. Everything was pretty much in a line. They did not do co-ed. I think the school was founded as being female only, but it might have at this time it might have been co-ed, but they definitely did not cohabitate.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Oh, heaven forbid. In the 60s, oh, good Lord. Heaven help us all if there's a boy in there. That's why I'm also assuming that 9 or 10 o'clock at night, they're probably all in, at least in their dorm, if not in bed.
Reading their Bibles, yes.
Yes, I'm sure, of course, with
Now,
their legs crossed.
this occurrence is the exact same night as
It's
Dexter?
the following night.
Oh, the following night. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Dexter was on March 20th. This one's on March 21st. And if the students there at campus had made it through a normal day, they were about to have a vigorous case of the Mondays. I don't know what day of the week it was, but they were going to have a case of the Mondays real quick.
Okay.
Suddenly, there was commotion as nearly 87 young women called for others and rushed to their windows to witness their own astonishing anomaly. An entire campus saw, everyone. It wasn't like, oh, a couple girls claimed. No, I'm talking tons of students.
Yeah,
Look
got
at the,
to hear what they saw.
yeah, and they're back then you're like, okay, kiddo, come look at this, come look at this. So then the first people initially see it, and then they have enough time to then get the other students over to be like, hey, look at this shit.
They would not be swearing, Natasha.
Oh yeah, golly
Absolutely
gee, come look at this wondrous thing in the sky, Susan.
It's the bee's knees.
Golly gee. I'm just like picturing an ascot. I don't know why, but they all have ascots on, like little poodle skirts and ascots. Wait, was that 50s or 60s?
I don't know. They
Or was
meshed for me.
were 60s like the tie-dye and peace sign girls?
It's not like
Or
70s.
people? Is that
I don't know.
70s or 60s? I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't around. That's before my time. Sorry, anybody out there who knows. Please don't at me. And so they start rushing over to the windows. Lights flash in the sky as yet another football-shaped craft sped in and hovered just above the, arboretum. This sounds like a really funny word. About half a mile from the dormitory, full of stunned girls. I guess women at this point, probably. For anybody who's not familiar with an arboretum, as I was not, is other verbiage for a botanical garden that is devoted to tree life. And this particular one was nestled into a swampy area similar to the atmosphere of the manor families encounter, because theirs was in a swampy portion of their property as well. So basically, you got a garden of trees, which I don't know why they don't just call it a baby forest, makeshift forest, manufactured forest. I don't know.
So
Maybe.
the football-shaped object just hovered over the swamp?
Yep, zips over and just hovers.
But it doesn't go down like the other one.
This is just the bare nuts thing. We're going to get into a little bit more of what's happening with it. This is just like initially comes in, zooms in, and hovers. That's what they're seeing as of yet.
Okay.
Now, the best view of the events unfolding, how sophomore named Josephine Evans, who later gave a statement to the Hillsdale Collegian and a crowd of other young women of all ages. She goes out, she reports what she saw to the local college gazette. And then it wasn't just her, it was like a crowd of women that were reporting these things. And Josephine recalled the initial approach of the craft. And this is going to be a quote. It says, "We suddenly spotted what appeared to be a strange light in the arb. It was odd the way the lights were, but it was also weird the way the UFO traveled," end quote. All right, so she's already labeling UFO, like out the gate, which I find interesting for a button-up college, that the first thing they would go to would be a UFO. But you know what it is? A dorm mate of hers, who was also the writer of the article, convenient, was Gidget Cone. I love it. Yeah,
yes.
it's either Cone or Con. It's Kohn.
I'd just call her Gidget. Forget the
Yeah, so
last name.
Gidget. Now she followed up by adding, quote, "There was a glow around it and the lights appeared to be pulsating. The glow was gone and there were 3 lights which were yellow white, and then the middle one turned red, and then one on the left. We watched for about 10 minutes, and then the objects seemed to move up and then to the right and left very slightly. End quote. All right. So again, same. We got two lights on either, one light on either end and the light in the middle. And she's saying they've got yellow and white, and then all of a sudden this middle one starts turning red. Kind of like your eyeball theory.
This is so insane because that many people saw it. Because at first I was like racking my brain, like, okay, it's the 60s.
Yep.
Were there like a lot of TV shows about aliens? What's pushing them? I don't really know what happened in the 60s with aliens.
Wait, when was the War of the Worlds? That was 1938.
Oh,
and then
so
we
it's
had
already being
and
well talked about.
They already had the Betty and Barney Hill. Roswell was what, 47, I think, right? Or 48?
I know nothing about aliens. I don't even know the whole Roswell story.
Okay, so there's been plenty of encounters that were very popular up until this point. Like by the time you hit 66, you had quite a few well-known ones, I would believe. Now you're gonna make me question it.
No, because right now, if you have that many people that are seeing the same
look
thing,
at me. Roswell incident started in 1947. So we have that one. And then we have Betty and Barney Hill was in 1961. So we've got some very prominent UFO and alien based encounters and abduction experiences that happened up into 66. So it's not like it was a brand new idea. But then again, if you see a flying football the size of a car, I don't know what else you could even possibly think that it could be at that point.
some kind of military thing is what I'm thinking, if there's any military bases in that area.
Oh, I should have asked. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to go ask real fast. I have a military guy in the other room. Please hold. Okay. I have used my phone a friend or ask the audience lifeline. So there are multiple bases in Michigan.
Oh, that puts a lot of doubt on this for me.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure, but my source says I'm a freaking reporter. My source.
I cannot name my source, but he says
This very handsome source I have in the other room says
deep throat.
Anyway, oh my God. Nice one. But anyway, so yes, I guess there's multiple up in Michigan. I don't know how close they are to Dexter.
To me.
But this is the only thing I want to take away from. We'll analyze more of this at the end. But so we have another football shape. We have the same colored lights. They're still flashing. We have the two light on either end, light in the middle, and all of that. So I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. If you, again, go listen to the last week's episode if you want to hear about that, because there's also the photo and the social media posts, and we do more of a description on there.
And Gidget confirmed it.
Yeah, Gidget says the Gidget. Oh my God, the Gidget Gazette. Love it. But anyway, so fear began to increase as the illuminated ship crept ever closer to the dormitory. Amidst the panic, some of the young women had the wherewithal to call for help on a rotary phone. Fingers shaking while trying not to miss the buttons on the rotary phone, they attempted to soothe themselves enough to explain to the man that they were in dire need of assistance. The man they contacted in their time of need was William Van Horn. God, I love it. The Hillsdale County Civil Defense Director. That's a cool title.
Civil Defense Director.
I know, right?
But he doesn't sound like he can do anything but sit behind a desk.
But hold on. Okay. Notice the verbiage. So I'm thinking they must be pretty close to some military bases for it to be the county civil defense director. I could be wrong, but it does make sense. Okay, I might just be talking out my ass, which I probably am. I just had like that Ace Ventura when he's like talking with his butt cheeks. Van Horn answers the call and instructs the girls to continue to monitor the mysterious lights. That's his directions. Hang tight,
Thanks, Van
observe,
Horn.
call back if it doesn't get better or it gets worse. Like that doctor when you have a rash. I don't know, just keep an eye on it. Call back if it doesn't go away.
That's the worst advice ever, but go ahead.
Yeah. So they ended up calling back, obviously. And this time he hopped in his police cruiser and headed over to the college, more than likely expecting a timid building filled with bored young girls trapped by den mothers and a curfew who simply just called to pass the time. That's probably what he's thinking, right?
I can't believe he waited, but yeah, that's probably what he's thinking.
It's the 60s. It was a different time.
But
I'm not going to say it's that much better now.
they couldn't do anything. They were seen as like these weak, feeble things. So if they were
Exactly.
scared, I'm
Oh,
surprised they didn't go out and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'll protect you."
They call. Oh, maybe it's about a hysteria. They're just ragging. No, it's stupid shit. So I can see them not taking them seriously because it's a college dorm room full of young women. And face it was the 60s. Upon arrival, Van Horn threw the car in park and paused, staring in disbelief at the astonishing light show that was still happening.
Next time, believe women.
Right? Lights of various colors and intensities danced in the sky in unpredictable patterns. Van Horn was not the only lawman who bore witness to the potentially extraterrestrial discentric object. That is Hillsdale police duo Harold Hess and Jerry Wise. Oh my God, this is a movie, right? It's got to be a movie if it's not.
Really is.
We're on
Hess and Wise are on the case.
Yeah, Hess and Wise. It sounds like a law firm. Incorporated,
Sounds like
LLC.
chips, or I'm hungry. All right, go ahead.
Oh. But they were on their typical patrol when something got their attention, regardless of the mile gap between them. By the college, there was an object floating at a low altitude that the men described as so bright they couldn't look directly at it. The brave officers sped over to the arboretum where they were able to see the craft that was emitting such extraordinary lights. In an interview with previously mentioned Gidget, Hess went on the record saying, "It wasn't a chopper. There was no humming. I took my weapon out. Jerry told me to put it back. Whatever it is, I don't think it'll bother it one bit what you've got at your side," said Jerry told me.
When you said it wasn't a chopper, I don't know why I heard that in Arnold
Get to the
Schwarzenegger's
chopper.
voice.
I did too. I so did. I'm gonna pretend that. Yeah, straight up in my mind. I just love how it's the 60s and he's a good old boy, I'm sure. It's get my weapon out. He's like, bro, put the gun away. Whatever this is doesn't give a shit about your gun. Just put it away, man. Someone's gonna get hurt. So
like, did you ever see what was it, The Town? When they were like robbing them and they had the movie The Town when they were robbing and they had all the masks on and stuff. Oh, there's an officer that's sitting there reading a newspaper and he just turns his head to the right. Like, I saw nothing. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
That's what I thought was crazy. So immediately following this exchange, the lights separated and shot off into two different directions, causing even the police radio transmitters to malfunction.
Oh, wow.
Right? When Hess and Wise ran back to their car to call for assistance, they were met with nothing but static. The officers froze with fear as the hairs on the back of their necks stood on end with the realization that they may have to face this dilemma on their own. Just then, the lights zipped off into the east and faded to nothing. Moments later, there was a spark of what was described as a blue-green whitish light before completely dissipating around 5:30 the next morning, never to return. We're going to take a pause there. This started at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. The one in the college, they said they sat and watched it for 10 minutes. 10 solid minutes of this thing hovering after it zipped in. Then we have the other ones that it's a mile down the road. They're seeing a craft it's so bright. So then they get closer. They see that it's a craft. And then it splits into two. Does its little dance, and then it just, let's see here. So does it come back together?
That's what I had my question about when you said it split. I didn't get what was happening then.
Yeah, so it said, after he was like, dude, put your gun away, it splits into two and shoots off in either direction. So it out both sides or different directions. I guess it doesn't have to be like polar opposites, but when it does that, it malfunctioned all the transmitters to the radios. They couldn't call out. It was like when you typically hear of radios malfunctioning, your car dies before an abduction, your cell phone doesn't work, which was pretty much all the time nowadays. But it does have a lot of electromagnetic effect and a lot of wavelengths and stuff like that it has effects on just in general.
I'm just trying to see when the light goes, you could see the ship and the light, and then just the light goes, or everything goes. Oh, I don't.
From what I've gathered, it was the one group saw the craft in the whole nine. The officers initially saw a light that was so bright they couldn't see. But then it says before that, let's see here, they went over to the place where it was hovering, and they were able to see the craft with all the light show going on. Then, which I'm guessing, so if you have the football shape and you have the eye in the middle, but you have the lights on either side, I'm wondering if they were so bright. I wonder if it's either split or maybe actually, this would be a thing. Because remember, in Dexter, at one point, all the lights were gone. It just, and was done. It didn't fizzle. It didn't fade. It didn't anything. It was just like light, and then blank zip, and it was done. So my thing would be, what if the lights on either side are not adhered to the craft? What if they're like sensors or something that they can shoot off, or like droids back in the 60s, and they could shoot the lights off? Because that would explain why two of them went opposite directions or went two different directions. And then maybe the middle piece turned off like it did in Dexter. So they didn't see it. And then maybe they came back, or there was that extra spark at the end. Maybe that was the thing turning back on, and then it just fizzles.
So being the annoying skeptic, what reason would the military planes have for hovering over swamps?
We don't know they're military.
I'm saying if they are not UFOs and they're military.
If it was military, if we're going skeptic Sally here, what if they were running some kind of craft that ran off water, and the closest that they had in that area were the swamps? Or what if there was some kind of mineral or algae or something that the craft they were trying to utilize in that area that it would then have to go get? That's not the word I was looking for, but get is essentially it. Harvest. Or maybe they were just looking for a place in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, and they're like, nobody's going to be at the swamp. We can test our craft over there. Although the one right next to the college wouldn't have been the best move.
Yes, I was going to say, with all the girls' faces pressed against the glass.
Skeptic Sally says, it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night. These girls should be in bed. What else are they going to be doing with their lives? Because they don't have a man to cook dinner for or whatever.
Sewing, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's just what's going on with that one as far as that goes. I don't think they would have picked a college town, but I don't know. Now, we could dig more into that here in a second. I've just got a little bit left here of the actual notes to go, and then we could just break it down. After the story of Hillsdale hit the press, the Michigan encounters became a nationwide attention grabber, and more reports trickled in over the next week. Many other residents in Dexter and Hillsdale stood in awe before they began phoning in reports of strange sounds being emitted from flying objects in the sky, accompanied by unexplained and rather erratic lights in the night of March 22nd. So this is 2 nights after the initial. On March 23rd, in Monroe, a teen was ready, watching with wonders. They whipped out their trusty camera and snapped some photos of a saucer they saw overhead. However, no one set eyes on the actual original photo. As far as I could find, nobody could say that they've seen the actual photo. But more shenanigans were underway in the evening of March 24th. Around 6:15 p.m., Robert Nichols and his wife. I hate when they do that. She has a name. Anyway, Robert Nichols and wife, who were disrespectfully, this is literally what I put, his wife, who was disrespectfully unnamed, were cruising the highway as they did 100 times before.
She should have been vacuuming.
Yeah, that bitch. She wasn't driving. She was being a passenger princess.
Oh, okay.
So she was women drivers.
No, they can't
drive. Did you know that it used to be illegal for a woman to ride in a car or drive a car without a jacket because it was considered to be improper?
I did not, but
yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Thankfully, that was a law.
Didn't matter if it was 100 degrees outside. Bitch better be wearing her jacket.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe that there was a time where like you couldn't even have your own credit card. You'd have to have like, Mrs. Your husband's
name. Miss. It's like that could be any woman. Anyway,
so gross.
It's we're just not going to get into that. But so they're cruising down. Cool night air, no doubt, whipping in their hair as they listen to the golden oldies and marital bliss. We're going to assume for the better portion here. Things got real when an object about half the size of their car went zooming across the highway about 200 feet, or you're welcome, 61 meters. And this is what they see. They're going through, boom, they account this thing about half the size of their car, shoots across the road through their headlights and gone. No light show, no hovering, no anything. But we're going to leave you off on that because, like I said, there wasn't much with this one. It was literally those two saw it. They reported that they saw it. I wanted to note that the same time frame here. It was going so fast that it didn't give a good description. They just saw something fly across the road that was huge. It doesn't say how fast. It does say 200 feet. Well, it is 6:15 in the afternoon.
I don't know.
We'll say 200 feet in front. Okay. That makes more sense. Now, that was that encounter. And so we're going to dive in. We're just going to go through this and try to see if we can make sense of any of this. And then next week, we're going to wrap it up with some information about the investigation and the man who actually headed up most of it and how they coined the term swamp gas. We're going to go over that next time. I know we've been dropping some little breadcrumbs over the last couple weeks about the swamp and all of that, but it's going to get into more detail next week. But let's go back here to the beginning. We have a whole dormitory full of college kids, which then too, it's the 60s. I feel like if you were a woman in college in the 60s, you were not messing around. Like you were there for business. It was like, I better get my shit together. I got to get this degree. Like I could be wrong. I don't know what the 60s were like. But given the atmosphere that they portrayed in this particular college, my sister went to college at St. Mary's of the Woods, and it gives me a very much same vibe. It's a like Christian college or whatever, and it gives me the same feel that this college does. So many people had seen it. They were all reporting the same thing. Then they called. The officer gets in his car, drives there, and he sees it with his own two eyes. Probably feels like a giant arse, or I'd hope he does. How do you feel, or what do you think about just that piece alone?
I think he is an arse because he didn't go out until the second phone call. But I think that there definitely was something because the fact that that many people saw it, and you have law enforcement coming in that also saw it, and other people reporting it in other areas. I don't believe the ones that report it, like the ones that call immediately when it's happening, I believe. But you know how all the neighborhoods people would be like, oh yeah, I saw that yesterday too, but they didn't report it at the time. Like that, I don't believe. None of them. Shut up.
Yeah, but I don't recall anything being in the papers. There was no notoriety for anybody necessarily other than like a few names. It's just like I said, it was a room full of people. Then there's like the sheriff, the officers, the government employees that were named. The other ones were not, except the girl that wrote the paper. And well, let's just be honest, you were a reporter, you were wanting attention anyway. So there's that. I need to look and see how far apart these towns are. It might not have traveled that far. I'm talking, so we had Dexter one night, then we have Hillsdale, and Hillsdale's happening in the same night. All of these, the college town, the sheriff or the civil defense director, And then the 2 officers, all of those happened on the same night. So there's no way they could have fed off the other one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm saying I believe these people, but it's the people days later. Whenever
The
there's
ones like up to a
incidents like
week.
this that are like, oh yeah, I heard that too. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Those I don't believe, but the amount for that night, I definitely think that there was something there. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was a UFO. I don't know if it was military. I don't know what it was, but I think that there definitely was something in the sky.
I'm leaning towards if there was something football shaped, which again, I feel like if you see something football shaped from the side, it's probably in all reality a saucer shape as a whole. You're just getting the side view. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like a like a fat saucer instead of it being like a pancake. But no tilting, no, that it's just like boom, light show, zip in. This one didn't even zip around as much until the end. It was basically just it zipped in, it hovered, did some disco light thing going on, and then, like I said, the other officers see it. It splits into 2. Now, granted, I don't know if the 2 side lights came out, ejected, and maybe they were doing some kind of. Oh my gosh, I lost my brain.
Like
Oh
recon
my god.
or something.
Thank you. Yes, like a grid,
Mm-hmm.
like doing some kind of scan or something like that, and maybe the main piece unlit, or because I don't see how it could split. I don't know how it works, but it splitting into 2 doesn't make any sense. But if there was something that looked like that in 66, that means that odds are, let's was it because you have everything from Roswell to all back way back. We have saucers again, right? Originally, there's saucers, and if it was military, I feel like it would have advanced a little further than just a fatter saucer. And I don't know what the military uses and what they don't use. Thank God. I don't want that kind of information. But I feel like we would have a lot more stuff nowadays that looks more like a saucer
But
than not.
that might have been just that, just them testing out. Okay, we had this before. Let's make it wider. Let's do this. Let's do that and see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like either there would be another branch or something similar to it had they successfully done anything. Because at this point, they've already got like 20 some years in to try to reverse engineer whatever the hell they found in like the 40s or the 30s. And I just feel like there'd be something that we have that looks more saucer esque.
But this could have been an attempt, and then with any organization, the minute a new person comes in, they're like, "Oh, scrap it. This is my way."
Yeah.
And at some point, it could have just been totally changed.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense having the shift change. And yeah, okay. I get you on that. We'll hop on that bandwagon. I'm with you. That's why I was just like, what the hell? They all report the same lights, like the same colored lights. They have the one in the middle, the 2 on the sides. We have yellow, white, red initially. That's all you're hearing through the whole thing until you get to the very end. The very end of the Hillsdale encounter, there was that blue, green, white ish. And it just said spark. It dissipated and was gone.
So we have white, yellow, red, and
Yep.
then blue, green, white.
Yeah. Because they were flashing. That's like all of them. And I think I had to go back and look. I'm trying to remember if the Dexter encounter had the circular light in the middle being red as well. Because I know the Hillsdale did. Because it never said that there was red all over it. There was also only 2 people that witnessed the craft like firsthand. And
As she
honestly, they
was
probably weren't paying
vacuuming.
attention. They're probably like, son of a bitch. They're too busy shitting their pants with their little flashlights, their handy dandy flashlights.
Huh.
Mm. And I guess so. The other thing too is the one piece missing from Hillsdale is they did not mention the checkered or quilted pattern like they had in Dexter, but nobody was as close as the Manners were to that one.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. But how
So
don't know. I want to blindly believe alien stuff, but it's so hard to.
I'm literally watching Resident Alien right now.
I love that show, Bridget.
That's what we were watching literally before I came out here. And it's just cracking me up. But if it's the first few days and they're not like releasing it to the press, they're not doing all of these things, it's hard for me to be like, to totally disregard everybody else who reported something over the next couple days. Because if it's like me, literally, I have stuff that happens in my own town and I am in town and I have no idea until somebody brings it up like a week later. And I'm like, wait, what? No idea. Now the slightest clue. We could have a building burned down in my town and I would have no idea.
So you think that they weren't sharing this enough? That's why they didn't get more
reports? What I'm thinking is I'm hesitant to not believe every extra account after the fact, because I know that in some cases they really just probably didn't hear about it and they might have still witnessed something without being influenced by the other encounters in the area.
Oh, gotcha.
There are those that do jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, me too. I saw this. I did that. Whatever.
Too bad that they didn't have Reddit back then, huh?
I know. Did you read this? No, I read it.
So what do you think?
I find it very fascinating that town's over, same environment, same shape craft, same colored lights. And to me, there's too many similarities between the two in such a short time for it to not have some kind of gusto. I don't know what it was, but it was something.
But why the swamps?
So one of the theories that people came across was that they were using the water to something in the water or the water itself to refuel. Or maybe what if it's, like I said, okay, so what, okay.
But before you get into it, did the second one go down as low as the first one?
It hovered. It hovered over it. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if it tells me. Let me go back. Because I know it hovered over it. Oh, so it'd be hard for them to know. So it was about half a mile from the dormitory that they're viewing this thing.
Okay.
And then the ones that got a better look at it were Hess and Wise.
Yeah, they did.
Let's see here. And it just says they saw the craft, but it doesn't say how far it was from the ground or anything. It just says they were able to see it. So I don't know how low to the ground it was. Okay. It couldn't land anyway if it's in a swamp.
Yes, so like how is it getting the water even if it needs it? Is it having this straw come down? I don't understand.
Well, there were the two little legs that came out of the Dexter craft. What if those weren't legs or landing gears or whatever? What if they were meant to suck something up?
The aliens are up there sucking it like they're siphoning gas.
Oh my God, I just had deja vu. That is the weirdest thing to swear that you've heard you say before.
Me?
Yes, I literally just got the exact same picture in my head that I've had before, and I'm pretty sure that was exactly what you said. That is weird. That is so weird. But yeah, it's essentially just if there's or they're chug. It's like a reverse keg stand.
Uh-huh.
But what if it is something? Because it would make sense that they're not going, because in Michigan, you do have the big lakes, and a lot of people do report a lot of stuff over there at that lake. And that's different type of water than, say, a marsh, swampy area. So what if it runs on some, and there's all kinds of species in theory that come down. What if one of them runs primarily on some kind of organic matter that's more of a vegetative state and less aquatic? Does that make sense?
So they're looking for like algae.
Yeah, what if it's the moss or the algae or whatever that's in there that has what they need as opposed to just being water or salt water or whatever.
All right.
So what if it is? Because then that would make sense. It was nobody was close enough to it. And again, this happened at night. So even the one said that it was so bright they couldn't see it for a hot minute. It was just too bright to even look at. So even if it was sucking anything up, or maybe the heat. Oh, here we go. Even if it was, say, hovering, if it generated heat and the heat went over the marsh and they were getting the vapors, they literally got the vapors, or that any air, maybe they wouldn't have to see anything getting sucked up because it would just automatically turn into mist or fog or whatever. Maybe they were just testing it. And those little sticks at the bottom were probes. Because we do that. They stick these little, they look like little, they're like sticks with balls at the end and they have sensors in them, and you stick it into air and it'll tell you what's in the air. If there's like contaminants and how much and all of that. Like we have that now as humans. We can do that. I know because I used to work at a place where we did it. Or they can stick the probe into water and tell you, like your fish tank, to tell you what's the acidity, what's this, what's that, what should you put in your tank. What if you hear a lot of stories about aliens that come out and they always see them taking rocks or dirt, but they need everything, right? You don't just want the dirt. So what if these people were they were just the moss testers? You're going to go into the swamp. We want to know what's up with this area. And they were just testing that. Which is why they didn't. Yeah, they didn't have to land because they didn't need soil samples. They just needed either air or water or something.
Is that what you think, that they came here just to get samples?
I don't know. Maybe. They never landed, so they didn't have any intention of getting off the craft. that was an odd pause.
I always hear so many weird stories about aliens living underwater.
Yes, usually it's in the oceans though. Usually. I think actually up in the lakes by Michigan, I think they do have some that say that they are in and out of the water, don't they?
I'm telling you, I know nothing about aliens.
Oh.
I know ET and Resident Alien. That's about it.
There's a lot in the ocean that they say are like bases underwater and everything. I have a hard time believing that. Now, granted, I don't know how deep the lakes are, but I have a harder time believing anything could be in a lake that we are not aware of at that size.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that there's not. It's just that I have a hard time grasping it enclosed, even though it is a very vast enclosed amount of water or amount of enclosed water. I feel like there's anything underground is probably in the ocean and not, it definitely wouldn't be in the swamp. Because I feel like that would draw quite a bit of attention.
Do you think that these were young aliens and they're like, we got to get our own place? We don't want to live near mom and dad. And they went to check it out to see if they could make a little apartment under there.
I'm picturing, what is it, Divergent? You put the helmet on or whatever you do, and it tells you which. Okay, Hogwarts. You have Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff. Yeah.
Gryffindor. So what if it's just they put their sorting hat on and they're like, Moss House, Water House, and then you have the Rock House, and it's just something like that. What if it's just that's just their job? It's you go and you can be a medical assistant or an RN or a doctor or a technician. There's different choices. What if it's just it was some guy that's, maybe it is. Maybe it's the extraterrestrial version of flipping a burger at McDonald's. And they're just like, fuck it. We just got to go around this damn swamp and get the sample and get out of there. Because like I said, it never stops.
Like, I covered Mount Shasta. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I have heard of that, yes.
And there's supposedly aliens in there. So if they can live in like volcanoes and mountains, then why not swamps?
Now, is it that they live in it, or is that just the entryway and exit for the inner Earth?
Both, I think. It was supposed to be to, what's the other one? Oh, gosh.
Inner Earth?
No, it was Oh my gosh. What's the place that's supposed to no longer exist that did before? There were two areas that like fought each other.
Huh?
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Pluto?
No. Oh my gosh. You're gonna make me look this up. Sorry.
The two things that don't. You mean like are we talking about alien species?
I am the worst. Give me 1 second. Oh my gosh. Why can't I find it? You know this thing too.
I know, I probably do. The two things, one doesn't exist anymore.
They both, I think, don't. It was like, oh my gosh. Why can't I
Are we
find it
talking
now?
about real people or are we talking about alien stuff?
Alien stuff, but people stuff.
Like the, like the Aztecs?
No.
Hmm.
Lemurians and what's the other one?
Sumerians?
Is it the Sumerians?
I don't know. That sounds right.
It's like the lost continent of Lemuria, which is
Oh,
supposed to be in, but they fought somebody else. I can't
like
remember the
Atlantis?
Atlantis. Oh my gosh, yes. I don't know why that was
That
escaping
has
me.
nothing to do with aliens.
Lemurians do though. I thought they were
But
aliens, no?
Atlantis doesn't.
Oh, those are just
They're
people.
like the mer people.
See, I'm telling you, I don't know anything about aliens. I'm the worst person to have on this episode.
That was awesome. It's like, that's the wrong direction, Melissa.
Okay, never mind. I'm back.
Oh my gosh, we needed that. That was good. I needed that. Oh, good gravy. I mean, that makes sense though. I can see there being both. Maybe not mer people. That's the other thing too. Is it's like people are like, oh yeah, the lost city of Atlantis sank, and then there was like mer people. I'm like, wait, whoa. So you're telling me that
It's
if we
SpongeBob. That's what did it. The SpongeBob movie. It messed
I'm like
everybody up. That's what I think of too.
Barnacle Boy, Mermaid Man, and Barnacle Boy. Uh,
Wumba. Yep.
but I'm just saying, if this happened, I'm like, so you're saying that in one day people grew gills and learned how to breathe underwater? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
No one points that out. They just go with it. But I guess it could be military experiments with crafts. I guess there are multiple.
I just haven't heard anything that makes it like more alien than military right now.
I'd say probably the zipping off. Like this just sounds like
But
dirty.
who's to say?
Zip off.
Can you tell me that everything that the military has tested or is testing now?
I'm saying for something to go against our knowledge of physics would be something that would not be man-made.
But
We're
how
not
can you
there yet.
guarantee that they haven't done that before?
I'm pretty sure if somebody was going that fast, think about the people that broke, was it Mach 5 or whatever? That was, they were all about. I just like totally stuttered. That was weird.
But did they say it was that fast, or did the light blind the people for a second so it could take off?
They just kept saying zipping. I don't know how fast zipping is though, but the way it sounded in Dexter was, like you said, it was like left. Actually, this one did left, right, up, down. Like it was doing patterns. And at the time, to the best of our knowledge, there was nothing that we had that could maneuver that fast and that effectively like that. We had things that took a solid minute to turn around. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't even just turn around. You had to like go in a big old loop to get turned around.
But if it is that shape that you just said, like a flying saucer, it could go left to right very easily in that shape versus a plane trying to do that.
Depending on the propulsion method.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're used to seeing planes and how fast they take to turn.
Yeah. I have a really hard time believing that us as humans have created anything like that thus far. And that's even today, let alone in 66.
Well, I'll believe you because I know nothing about aliens except for what you're telling me. I go to mermaids, I guess.
that was perfect. I can't even, I'm trying to feel like, is there a way I could link mer people to aliens? And I'm like, I've got nothing. Maybe a ship dropped off, their capsule was full of water or Like, and then the pod just opened up in the water, and then we have mer people.
Boom.
They have the aquatic ape theory that,
What is that?
You don't know the aquatic. Oh, so you have the apes, and then we supposedly evolved from apes, went to land, and then we lost our hair and all that stuff. But there's a theory where we, at one point, a branch of us went back to the water and became like an aquatic ape, which would be kind of like a mer person. Did you like how that was politically correct? Mer person.
Mer person.
But yeah, it was like that a group of them either went back or at some point in the evolutionary process just went down that road into aquatic ape instead of coming onto land. Kind of like how whales used to be on land.
Never heard that.
They evolved and then went back into the water.
To your point, how do you grow fins? Like, how do you, like, how does any of that happen?
Aquatic ape theory is not an immediate thing. That is
100 people would have to die like daily to evolve if that's the case.
Yeah. No, I'm saying aquatic ape theory is not that at all. It is literally the same time it took us to get to where we are today from the original. It's just the tree split at the beginning and one went our direction and one went water-based.
I'm just picturing like colonies throwing people in the water.
Or they just flood the whole town just to get you used to walking around in water all the time. And then they just increase the water level every 150 years or something. Or I guess 100, or I guess it'd be a lot. It'd be like 1,000,000 years or something. So you start with the gills on your feet or flippers or something.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still a fucking burpee.
So you get to like your belly button and then you'll have fins, but you still have hands. Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't fix your breathing underwater problem though.
No.
Okay. Let me just, let's go back to Hillsdale.
Okay.
I will say this.
To high heels. Yeah.
Yes. I very generally like to stay pretty skeptical. I will say I 100% believe that these people saw something physical was there. There are too many encounters that are too similar in too short a time for it to not be taken seriously. So they saw something. Now, whether it was extraterrestrial or not, I do not know. For the time frame, I would say some of the things like the zipping around and the splitting of the lights and then it just like all that stuff, I feel like that's not something that we weren't there in 66. There was no landing. No one saw a creature. There was nobody seen in the bubble on top of the craft. There was no silhouette, nothing that insinuated an actual being was even flying the thing.
I definitely believe that something was seen that day. But I think the government keeps way too many secrets.
Yep.
That don't get released for years. So I can't fully discount that it wasn't some kind of governmental military something.
With. When I found out there was a bunch of bases, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that kind of knocked me down a few pegs. Before that, I was all for aliens. And I'm like, it could be. All I know is that they saw something that does not match anything else that we are aware of existing in that time frame that is man-made.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
So if I had to throw a percentage on it, I don't know. I'd say I'm probably a 60-40 with 60 being extraterrestrial. Well, maybe 70-30. No, 60-40. 60-40.
I'm about a 90-10. 90 military, 10 extraterrestrial.
And this is where we don't agree, folks. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like I said, it's on one hand, you have all the encounters, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's extraterrestrial. It's not like they saw a gray alien or something in it or something came out of it. It was literally just the craft and the light show, all of which we had access, except for the splitting and all of that. And
but like you said, it could have been drones coming off. And if you see in light and drones, it could.
Yeah, but did we have drones in the 60s?
I'm sure the military did. I don't know how good the cameras and everything on them would be, but
that minus the maneuverability about the object. That's what's getting me is.
But you've only said like up, down, left, and too fast. I'm not really hearing.
It's like erratic fast. It's not like it's rhythmic in the movements. But I feel like that we didn't have anything that could up, down, side like super fast at the time.
That we know of.
Exactly.
Again, skeptic.
Skeptic Sally.
That's me.
Skeptic Susie. I can be Skeptic Sally. You can be Skeptic Susie.
Gidget, but all right.
I can't think of anything to go with the Gus sound, though. Gosh darn Gidget. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So I guess we could just wrap this up from there, and then everybody can just kind of let us know, what do you guys think it is? What's your percentage of extraterrestrial to military potentially? Any other comments and stuff, feel free to, like I said, leave it on the pod, or you could email it and all that stuff. You can reach us on all our social medias too.
And let's not mock Melissa too much for the whole Lemurian thing.
Please,
maybe a little, but not really.
I want to hear somebody make a comment about Melissa's aliens of Atlantis theory. That means a whole different meaning to the word ancient aliens. But all right. Do you have anything that you wanted to add in or close up with?
No, that's it. I can't wait to hear next week to hear the swamp gas.
Oh,
that's what I'm waiting for.
I'm super excited about it. Thanks again for being on, Melissa. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you.
Bye.
Atlantis. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and give the show a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show and allows people to find us more easily. Also, head on over to www.patreon.com/Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy and subscribe to any of the tiers. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shoutouts on the pod, ad-free episodes, access to the private Discord server, quarterly appreciation gifts, and a chance to be on the show. Not to mention video versions of the episode. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some self-designed merch by me, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please send them to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experiences on a listener episode. Just make sure that you specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show and let me know whether or not you would like your real name read or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you guys all again so much for your support. Until next time, my friends. See ya.